And were you under Chesty?
Yes, Puller was always up just back of the front line. The casualties on Peleliu, I think, could be considered the worst campaign of the war in the South Pacific because of the losses. And they hadn't estimated. I was on a auxiliary hospital ship when we came into Peleliu, and I ran into a friend that was in the Navy, and he came down, and Marines weren't allowed up on top. We had to stay in our bunks. And he came down and got me. He said, come on, you can help me with the coffee watch to the gun replacement. So I went up and I got to see all of the bombardments, the planes taking off the carriers. And I looked and I decided that nobody could survive that. But they survived. They'd been there for 8 years, and it tunneled and carved out. They had tank traps, pillboxes that you couldn't see until you were on top of them. And then it was too late. It was a slaughter, is what it was. And they had the beach all zeroed in.
When you landed on Peleliu, how long did it take for Chesty to get up to the front and begin leading up to the front?
He was always up to the front.
What impression did that make on his men that he was always in the front, not at the rear?
Well, they respected Colonel Puller. During Peleliu, all the generals disappeared right away. And they left it up to Puller to finish. Well, when I went to General Geiger and then I went back to him, and one of his lieutenants said, report to Colonel Puller. So I did some running before they established communication to find out what was going on with a given platoon or whatever. And then there were two of us sitting there, and there was three. Anyway, this Japanese interpreter came in and saluted very ramrod straight and said to Colonel Puller, I'm your new interpreter, Japanese interpreter. Puller was down on his haunches smoking his corncob pipe, and he looked up and he said, son, sit down, have a hard-boiled egg. He said, we don't take any prisoners that you'll ever be able to talk to. We'd leapfrog and then work back picking up stragglers, trying to get to Rabaul. And we had a broken down Higgins boat, and when we picked them up, we put them in the Higgins boat. And when it was full, Colonel Puller said to the sergeant, Sarge, take them out 3 miles and see that they can't swim back. And there was a Catholic chaplain there, and he said, if you do that, I'll have your job. Puller said, Sergeant, you heard my order.
These were Japanese?
Yeah. Well, you had no place to take care of prisoners.
And they're committed to killing you one way or another, you gotta do it.
Well, weren't the Japanese also, though, they posed a great risk when you tried to capture them because they would try to fight back.
To the end, to the death.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the Japanese, to the last man on Peleliu.
So did Chesty see that they were drowned?
Oh, sure. Puller was always right up. He wanted to know what was going on.